Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Jonah Now channel. We're continuing the Mark series, and now we're on Mark chapter 4. But again, if you're enjoying this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. I know this is only the 4th episode, but again, there's going to be 16 of these. There's 16 chapters of Mark. We're going through them every single day. Alright, let's jump right into it. Alright, we're going to be starting at verse 1, of course, chapter 4. This is the parable of the sower. Very important here. Again, he began to teach beside the sea. Such a very large crowd gathered around him, and he got into a boat on the sea and sat there, while the whole crowd saw beside the sea on the land. He began to teach them many things in parables, and in his teachings he said to them, "Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where it did not have much soil, and it sprang up quickly. But since it had no depth of soil, and when the sun rose, it scorched, and it had no root, it withered away. And other seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no grain. Other seeds fell into soil and brought forth grain, growing up and increasing and yielding 30 and 60 and 100-fold. And he said, Let anyone with ears hear. Anyone with ears to hear, listen." The different paths resemble different heart postures within people. The path resembles a hardened heart, and the rocky ground is a shallow heart. The thorns is a crowded heart. And last, the good soil is a receptive and cleared heart. It is one that is willing to hear and willing to learn and grow. It is responsive. It is not flawless, but it is responsive. The shallow ground, not the path, the hardened heart, it falls onto deaf ears because they refuse to listen. They refuse to hear you out. Don't let that be you. Don't refuse to listen to people. Don't refuse to hear people out. The rocky ground, the shallow heart. It is not the sun's fault for revealing how shallow the depth of the soil is. It is not the sun's fault for that. It just means you need to make room for it. You need to dig into it and learn and be more responsive to it. The thorns, that doesn't mean the crowded heart, that doesn't mean you care less or that you don't care. It just means you have other things that are taking priority than God. Where God should be the center, he is not in your heart. And the responsive heart, again, that is the heart where it falls to. That is the heart where it listens and it holds truth to it. All right, we're going to be heading to verse 10. This is the purpose of the parables. This tells the purpose and why Jesus uses the parables. Verse 10. When he was alone, those who were around him, along with the 12, asked him without the parables, and he said to them, "To you have been given a secret of the kingdom of God, but for those outside, everything comes in parables, in order that they may indeed look but not perceive, and may indeed listen but not understand, so that they not turn again and be forgiven." And he said to them, "Do you not understand this parable? Then how will you understand all the parables? The sower sows the word. These are the ones on the path where the word is sown. When they hear, Satan immediately comes and take away the word that is sown in them. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground. When they hear the word, they immediately receive it with joy. But when they have no root and endure only for a while, then, when a trouble or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately they fall away. And others are those sown among the thorns. These are the ones who hear the word, but the cares of the word and lures of the wealth and the desires for other things come in and choke the word, and it yielding nothing. And these are the ones sown on good soil. They hear the word and accept it and bear fruit, 30 and 60 and 100-fold. Truth does not change people. It either softens or hardens their heart. The parables are a test of the heart, a test to see if you're willing to go in and search for the answer, a test to see if you're willing to dive into it and ask further questions. A lamp under a bushel basket. This is verse 21. He said to them, Is a lamp brought to be put under the bushel basket or under the bed, and not on the lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be disclosed, nor is anything secret except to come to the light. Let anyone with ears to hear listen. And he said to them, Pay attention to what you hear. The measures you give will be the measures you get, and still more will be given to you. For those who have more will be given, and from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. Whatever you put in, you will get. The amount of effort you put in something is the amount that you get back. The amount of effort you get into just knowing the word, knowing God, knowing his heart, the more you get from him. 26. The parable of the growing seed. He also said, The kingdom of God is as if someone would scatter seed on the ground, and would sleep and rise and night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow, he does not know how. The earth produces of itself, first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. But when the grain is ripe, at once he goes in with a sickle, because the harvest has come. The next section is the parable of the mustard seed, which goes into this again. Verse 30, he also said, with what can compare the kingdom of God, or what parable will we use for it? It is like a mustard seed, which when sown upon the ground is the smallest of all seeds on earth. Yet when it's sown, it grows up and becomes the greatest of all shrubs, and puts forth large branches, so that the birds of the air can nest in its shade. These both are telling us that the signs of the kingdom are small. The kingdom is here, we just can't see it because it is small for now. Jesus describes the kingdom as tiny, unimpressive, and easy to overlook. And in the Pharisees and the people's minds, God's kingdom shouldn't look like this. God's kingdom looks like a political overthrow of Rome, a national glory, and a visible power, but is not. God does the invisible things. Jesus talks about this. Jesus does the invisible things God does. The growth is the miracle. Mustard plants don't just grow. They didn't just grow. They exploded. There's human effort and skill that goes into planting and maintaining mustard seeds. On to the next section, the use of parables. The use of parables. With many such parables he spoke the word to them, as they were able to hear it. He did not speak to them except in parables, but he explained everything in private to his disciples. Here, this is modeling messages and sermons for us. This is modeling what we should do after it. After we hear a sermon, after we hear a message, go and look for it in private. Search it, research it on your own. Do a deep dive of the stories that that the pastor uses. Everything is explained in private. Jesus stills a storm. This is verses 35. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, Let us go across to the other side. And leaving the crowd behind, he took him with them in the boat. Just as he was, other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose and the waves beat into the side of the boat. So the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him up and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith? And they were filled with a great awe and said to one another, Who is this that even the wind and sea obey him? This is beautiful right here, because it is again showing Jesus's authority over the nature of earth. Over nature itself, Jesus has authority over winds, over seas, over storms. Jesus has authority over it all. The storms in our hearts, that is panic and worry, and yet Jesus says, Be calm, be still, and see how good I am. He said to them, Why are you afraid? This comes to Psalms 27. Why are you afraid? Am I not enough? And that is the last section of chapter 4. That is the last section of chapter 4, and that means we're swiftly moving to chapter 5 in the next video, which are two heavy and in-depth chapters. They are talking about the three major miracles at this time, and they are important to show his authority. This really declares his power and authority over nature, over mankind, over life, over death, and over spirit. It will break that down tomorrow in tomorrow's video. Again, this is the Mark series. Mark a day, a chapter a day. Come back for tomorrow. It's going to be a great one.